How's it going, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I want to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Trent Rajoni 235, Crimson Caption 5, Jade Rasmussen, Dusk Dovahkiin, Noah Morgan, Banana Peel, RF, Ash Lopez, Cold Philly, Kevin J. Coleman, Thomas Beretta, Tommy Hill, Aaron White, Crispy Bacon, Oscar Zephyr, Commander Nom Nom, Sabely, Owen, Zach, Noah Barnhart, Canadian Caesar, Matt Way, JD, Cheese Soda, Omega, Ross Lingard, Rogue Knight, The Tin Man 1996, Thomas A. Beatty, Kendra Maxey, Dr. Pepper 225, Jacob Huffman, The Names Due, Tunnel Rat, Catmere, Benjamin Callahan, Nguyen An Quan, Brony Time, Matthew B., Smooth Weaver, Hemora 13, Pro Tomahawker, Wong Varaya, and as always, I want to give a big shout out to our executive producer, Bevan Brummett. Thank you all very much for your support, and if you want to become a Patreon supporter, feel free to click the link in the description to find out more. We'll see you there.
Good job! See what happens? See what happens when you're stupid? See what happens? Ah! National security! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! No! Let me out of the box! Daddy, please let me out of the box! I'm stuck! Look at me! Look at me! Look at me! I'm stuck up here! I'm stuck up here! Look!
You know, talk about a movie that, as a kid, I never questioned the weirdness of it. Not once. And then as I grew up and I realized just how bonkers of a concept that this is, you know, inanimate objects basically gaining sentience and trying very hard to find their former master, their former owner. It's almost like Toy Story, but before Toy Story. And I think the main reason why it you know, years later, it, like, to me, the concept, like, to me, the years later, the concept still is, like, it's weird, but at the same time, I'm just like, you know, we all, like, there's a bunch of weird stuff that we just let things pass when we're younger, and then the older we get, we're just like, bit weird. So, also, another thing about this film, it has arguably one of the single most horrifying moments in a kid's movie, unintentionally, by the way. Like, I can't believe, as a kid, it scared me that bad, and it just, I know it's in this review because it's in the thumbnail for this. I saw it when Doug had, on the thumbnail behind Doug, and I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. The freaking clown, the firefighting clown. Run. Just, still sticks with me to this day. Also, the vacuum cleaner, Herbie, I think was his name, running over his cord with and eating his cord. That to me was a bit weird, especially the face that he made. And then the friggin' air conditioning unit basically malfunctioning and exploding. But thankfully that part at least has a happy ending. And then there's the pawn shop, or the scrap shop, where these machines get basically eviscerated, and it's almost like a horror movie. And I'm just anyway, we got Doug's review here. I'm gonna try not to talk as much during it. I've said that before, and see how well that's worked. But I'm gonna try and limit myself on the, on like my interruptions on this. But if I feel like talking about something and I don't want to talk over the video, I'm gonna do that. But it's a pretty short one from Doug. I know what he's gonna mention to a certain degree, but I'm also interested. If I don't survive the end of this reaction, just know I love y'all. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. Damn, that's loud.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold the outcast, the creepy and depraved, the bizarre creations not meant for the normal world. Embrace the twisted weirdness of freak show cinema.
Okay. Freak show.
Since I first started this series, I got a fair amount of people asking me to talk about the Brave Little Toaster. Really? The Brave Little Toaster? The 1987 Disney film about an animated toaster and his friends searching for their long-lost owner. I remember liking this movie.
1987, damn, that was a year before I was born. Damn.
Okay, but I don't remember anything especially dark in it. Aside from this scene.
Yeah, that's it.
And maybe this moment. And...
Yeah.
And...
Yeah!
And maybe this was more intense than I remember.
Yes.
On the surface, Brave Little Toaster appears to be a family-friendly film, and I do stand by that's what it is.
For the most part. Yeah, for the most
movie about a group of appliances left alone in a cabin for so long they go searching for their master, who used to be a little boy but is now a grown man, has the usual adventure elements you would expect. It has a lineup of colorful characters, a radio voiced by John Lovitz.
Sorry, folks, we seem to be experiencing a little technical difficulty, but I'm sure it's nothing we can't handle.
A vacuum voiced by Thurl Ravenscroft.
Cry, cry, weep, wail, and sob. It's disgusting.
A lamp named Lampy. A blanket named Blanky. Yes, if a bird was involved, he'd be named Eagley.
Again. Just... thing... You don't question it as a kid.
And the toaster.
Also, Doug was 7 when this movie came out. I think. Oh, someone must be talking shit about me. Oh well.
Voiced by, this was a surprise to me, Deanna Oliver.
There's only one rule. You can't stop till the house is clean.
Boo.
If that name doesn't ring a bell, her writing has shaped half your childhood. In fact, she often wrote with Sherry Stoner, who also shaped half your childhood. It's kind of cool these two were working behind the scenes on so many things you never noticed until you're older. Unlike other movies we've talked about on Freak Show Cinema, though, Brave Little Toaster wasn't criticized for being too dark. Chicago Sun-Times said it was an adorable adventure that kids will treasure. It won a Parents' Choice Award, and I don't know, look at it. It seems like a cute enough film.
Time fly by in the city of light.
Actually, I remember even when I was 6 years old, that it had a little bit more of a mature
6 years old, okay.
feel to it. Yes, it's about big-eyed objects with cute voices, and yes, there's a lot of bouncy music, but there's also a sense that a harsh reality is always around the corner. Take this scene early on when the electric blanket is remembering what it was like to have the master come home. It's all loud, bright, and colorful like you would expect, but then... Now, that's not a scary scene, but it is a rough one. There's a lot of...
Well, again, it's like hope and anticipation. You think it's them, you think it's them, you think it's them. Oh, it has to be them, and... reality hits. And the older I get, the more aware of how reality sucks to a certain degree.
Quiet moments where nobody talks, or even sometimes the music just shuts off and somebody will, just feel bad. It creates a relatability for kids. Like, they know it's not gonna lie and say everything is just great all the time.
Oh, sorry.
When something happens that's a downer, it's gonna take the time to let it feel like a downer. It even starts off on kind of a harsh note. The air conditioner, played by Phil Hartman doing a Jack Nicholson voice.
Hey, I'm real scared there, Kirby. What are you gonna do, suck me to death?
Kirby.
I guarantee
Sorry, not Herbie, Kirby.
you Hartman improvised that. This is the guy who wrote for Pee-wee.
Now, Pee-wee, there's two things missing from this drawing. Two things a sailor always looks for on a mermaid. A belly button and a watch.
He says it's pointless for them to go look for the master.
I can't help it if the kid was too short to reach my dials.
He cracks because he wasn't given enough attention by the master and essentially blows himself up.
I like being stuck in this stupid wall. It's my function. He is inside with us.
they had to do was just have him taunt the main character so they could do the usual follow your dreams message. But instead, they just leave you with this guy pretty much on the verge of death. And this is before the journey even starts. There's always that sense of harshness looming over everything. Take this scene where they're trying to get across a waterfall. They all drop, leaving the vacuum behind, and he jumps in to save them. At least, I'm sure that's what the script called for. But this is the way they show it. It's like they want to trick you into thinking everybody's dead and he's just left alone forever.
You see, I think that's one of the main things that works with this film is that its thematics are so good. It's so good at visual storytelling without having to just expend you, slap you in the face with exposition. Instead, it lets the visuals do the storytelling, and it's so well done in certain regards. Oh my god.
He does jump in and eventually save them like you would expect, but I remember this moment of him just standing there alone more than when they were rescued. As a kid, I've seen a scene like this a million times, but this I haven't seen as often. It's not needed for the story, you could cut it out and miss nothing essential, but it makes the stakes feel so much higher. Little moments like this are what help makes the film unique. With that said, it is mostly happy moments. There's upbeat songs, cute one-liners, colorful characters they discover. A lot of it is business as usual.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, you don't remember these moments as much.
No.
They're done fine. I mean, the characters are likable enough, and it goes the route you would think a movie like this would go. The film could totally have a pass if it kept this attitude all throughout. Because it is what I think everybody would expect. When the movie wants to go dark, though, it doesn't just go foreboding, it goes straight up horror film.
Yes.
First they enter the woods and discover some scary looking trees. Okay, that's not too bad. But it all goes hardcore when the toaster has a dream about his young master.
Nah.
It seems pleasant enough, but again, there's always that feeling, something's coming, I'm grabbing my teddy bear to squeeze. And suddenly, you're greeted with this. That's when you look down and realize your teddy bear now looks like this. The backgrounds get distorted, everything tries to kill him, he's dropped into a bathtub, and then he wakes up.
What the hell was that?
Exactly.
I know, right? None of this even plays into the story.
Nah.
I guess you could argue the drop into the tub might tie into sacrificing himself later. Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But in terms of story, this is another scene you could cut and not miss anything important. It just gives the film an edge that, I don't know, is kind of welcomed in something as unassuming as this. Keep in mind too though, this is 40 minutes into the movie. A lot of it really is just the characters being cute and getting into antics. So when something this intense does pop up, it is a legit surprise. But it's also not out of place. If this was the only scene like this, it would be odd, but there are several more. After the blanket gets blown away in a storm, the lamp forcefully gets struck by lightning so they can get power again, and they all nearly drown to death in, again, a rather intense moment.
Yeah.
I'm not scared.
Death is just a warm sleeping bag trying to strangle you.
God damn it, Doug. Why? Why?
They're saved by a repairman, or so they think. They're taken to a spare parts shop, in his monster truck.
I gotta be honest, when I was a kid, I wanted that. Of course, you know, when you're a kid, you want a bunch of stupid things. I saw that and I'm like, I want that. And I actually had two uncles that had vehicles like that, these big-ass souped-up Ford Broncos, and one of them stupidly tried to drive it in the backwoods back when I used to live in the holler, and got it stuck. He got it, I'm talking a bog that's at least 5 feet deep, nothing but mud and ugh. And I remember them having to dig it out. Basically, my Uncle Rudy ruined his friggin' Bronco. He spent so much time and effort souping that thing up, and then he ruined that thing. Within I think 3 or 4 years of him finishing it, he basically ruined it.
Because I'll raise you more random. And all the broken appliances are like something out of a horror movie. right down to the overhead lamp doing a Peter Lorre impression. He even does the little laugh at the end like a lot of impressions do.
Use it in good health while you still can.
They make me laugh.
They're not so safe when a customer asks for a blender motor. This little blender is literally running for his life until he's found and gutted like a snuff film. This is like Johnny number 5 getting beaten in Short Circuit 2. If any part of this thing was human, this would be a hard R. I don't even know what half those things are. I just know they're gory as shit.
Oh.
In fact, I think I need a minute. Here's this.
Oh, thankfully I got YouTube Premium, so no ads for me.
Okay, sorry, I think we're good. No, one more. Okay, false alarm. Back to the movie. The appliances sing a song pretty much confirming they're a horror film.
It's like a movie. It's like a movie show.
And incorporates some really creative designs, fun colors, and shadows. After the radio gets picked up to be gutted next, the appliances band together and decide to break some rules to scare the shit out of him. Toy Story! We'll do it. Something I love about the fact that the customer essentially sees all these things come to life, break through the walls, and has absolutely no reaction to it.
Just wondering if you got my radio tubes.
Also, hail Satan, I guess.
Also, your refrigerator's running.
When they finally get to the city they think their master is at, which, by the way, I love the design of this place. It's like a mix of St. Canard and Bay Pig in the City. They discover he grew up and, ironically, is taking his girlfriend to his childhood cabin where all his appliances aren't. When they get to his apartment of animator and joke number cajillion, the new appliances don't like them and send them to the dumpster to die. They're sent to the local garbage dump where, once again, something is trying to kill them. This time it's a giant magnet sending all the forgotten garbage, which, yes, are alive, to be pounded into a dead cube. And this isn't like the AC where once the master comes back, he just turns him back on. This is like the blender. When they're dead, they're dead.
There ain't nothing you can do about it. Pardon me while I panic!
On that literal note, though, this song is pretty great.
Yes.
Most of the songs in this movie aren't bad, they're just kind of forgettable. But this song, ironically called Worthless, is easily the best one. It's super catchy, the lyrics are clever, and as you'd imagine, it's pretty damn dark.
I come from Casey, Missouri, and I got my kicks out of Route 66, every truck stop from Butte to MO.
They all sing about how they used to be valued until they were abandoned, and now their last words are frantically singing about how they used to have it all.
Once took a Texan to a wedding. He kept forgetting his loneliness, letting his thoughts turn to home and return.
No, really, this song needs a lot more love. Oh, maybe it just needs a little more love then. Actually,
it's looking like it's got plenty of love, dude. I mean, that's... damn. I did not know it had that much of a following. Well done, Internet. You've warmed my heart.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who loves this song. But after that happy tune of death, the master finds the appliances there after the TV recommends he goes to the dump to save them.
What about Rooney's down on 53rd?
This just in. Rooney's vacuum's found to be carcinogenic in recent lab tests.
So I get the idea the TV is altering the picture to save them all, but a part of me always wondered if somehow that was affecting a real person being filmed. Welcome to the 6 o'clock news, our first story. Your appliances are gonna be killed in the city dump! Hurry! Now weather.
Now the weather.
This builds up to the climax that, you guessed it, is pretty damn intense.
Yeah.
The magnet tries to get all the appliances squashed down. He's surprisingly a good villain because he never talks, so you have no idea what his deal is. You just know he wants them dead and will even sacrifice a human life to do it. And that's exactly what happens as the master gets stuck in the rubble and is about to be destroyed along with the rest of them. Everything goes red like it's the end of Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, and the dude is screaming at the top of his lungs so he isn't squished into a bloody pancake. The toaster sees the only way to save him is to throw himself in the gears, and Jesus, look how this is edited.
Now.
This is how a Cronenberg movie ends.
Yes.
As you'd guess, he does launch himself into the gear, saving the master, but as you'd also guess, he's okay in the end. Still, man, can't imagine many kids were having fun watching their big eye protagonist go through this. At the end of the day, though, all the appliances are fine and they're all reunited in a happy ending.
You're all a bunch of junk.
Thanks, Kirby.
So yeah, okay. I guess that was a little much. I guess when I think back on the film, I do remember the darker scenes a lot more. I just don't remember there being a ton of them. Like I said, the first legitimately scary moments are about 40 minutes in, and there's only a handful that are spread out throughout the rest of the film. Compare this to, say, Coraline or Return to Oz, where there's either something scary or messed up around every corner, and you can see the difference. However, I will give credit, even though the film isn't always dark, it does usually have kind of a tough tone. It's kind of like saying Little Red Riding Hood is a really dark story. It depends on what you focus on.
Also, it depends on the version you hear, because there's some versions of Red Riding Hood that's just, whew, and then there's other versions that are, oh, okay. So that was, because in some of the tellings of Red Riding Hood, you know, the wolf tricks Red Riding Hood, the wolf wins. Then there's a version that I heard where where Red Riding Hood gets tricked, the woodsman comes, and, like, basically, there's some versions that are super dark, some versions that are lighthearted, but in the end, I think that the overall thing with Red Riding Hood, I don't know. I remember the first time I heard the version where like the woodsman basically chased down the wolf and you know was not able to like save Red Riding Hood or the grandma. Like basically the wolf swallowed both of them whole, and like in one version, like the wolf ate both of them, and the woodsman basically killed the wolf, and that was the end of the story. Then another one, the wolf swallowed both Red Riding Hood and the grandmother whole, and then the woodsman eventually like cut the wolf open and got them out. Like, again, there's so many different retellings. Like, what's a retelling that you all heard that just made you go, huh? Or made you, or shocked you, or whatever. I mean, there's so many different ways. Like, ugh.
Almost every version of the story, though, is direct with the dangers in the world. That's what most kids take out of it, and I think kids also take that out of this. The bright stuff is bright, and happy moments are happy, as they should be. But the idea of something bad being around the corner is always in the back of your head, and I found those kids' movies usually stuck with me a lot more. For a story that almost by design has to talk down to you, it doesn't talk down to you too much. It lets you know you're not always safe, so that when you do get to the pleasant moments, you enjoy them all the more. And much like a lot of the films we talk about on here, it really is the characters that anchor us to everything. Okay, they're not phenomenal or especially deep characters, but they're charming and likable enough. You want to see them get to their master, and you're willing to get through the hard stuff because it makes their connections to the ones they love all the stronger. I'm not gonna act like this is one of the great animated films, but it is much better than it has any right to be. The animation is smooth, the expression's on point, and everything is exaggerated in a way that's memorable, especially the freaky moments. The happy moments are there too, but I think the rougher moments are the ones we find ourselves appreciating more. It is interesting commentary too that the film where they go to a different planet isn't nearly as scary as the one where they just stay on Earth. For a movie that did not need to try that hard, both the excitable kid in me and the sick, twisted adult in me is glad they did. I'm the nostalgia critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
What are you gonna do, suck me to death?
Oh, God, I miss Phil Hartman. You know, okay, so Brave Little Toaster, as an adult, maybe I need to watch that movie again, because I haven't seen it in so long. And I got Disney Plus, so I could watch it again. Although I worry that they probably have edited things out of it. I mean, I don't know. That's the weird thing with, sometimes, I really wish that they would, give us the original formatted versions of certain films. It's just like The Lion King. There's a the scene where Simba lays down in the leaves and everything, and lays down, and then like leaves fly up, and then like everyone was in uproar because they thought it said sex, but instead it was saying SFX, like special effects. But again, I don't know what the truth is, but animator kerfuffles that exist, like are purposefully put in like that, I think are entertaining. I really do. I think that they're entertaining, and I think that I want to see them in their original format. But anyway, what did you all think of The Brave Little Toaster? Have you all seen it? Because, oh Lord, what a friggin' movie. But anyway, I guess until next time, everyone, signing off. I'm Nate. I'll see you then. Peace.